Namaskar, good evening viewers, a very happy Independence Day to you all. It is 9 p.m. and you're watching the news on Sansad TV. I am Rajiv Kumar Singh. Roundup of all national and international news over the next 30 minutes. We are beginning with the headlines. India celebrates 76th Independence Day. Prime Minister Narendra Modi asks people to focus on 5 resolutions to make India a developed nation by 2047. The world looking at India for solutions, asserts Prime Minister Modi. Says India set to emerge as global manufacturing hub under Make in India scheme. Executive, legislature, judiciary, equal repositories of constitutional trust, says Chief Justice of India N.V. Ramana. Reiterates Constitution mandates the state to secure social, economic and political justice. Independence Day celebrated across India with patriotic fervor. All states and union territories hold events to mark the historic day. People across the country hoist Tiranga in their homes. Myanmar court convicts ousted leader Aung San Suu Kyi on 4 more corruption charges, adds 6 years to her earlier 11-year prison sentence. Suu Kyi has denied all charges. Let us now have a quick look at some other important news of the day. PM has set out 5 commitments for New India as it heads towards its independence centenary, says EAM S. Jaishankar. 1,082 personnel have been awarded police medals on the occasion of Independence Day. 347 awarded for gallantry, 87 for distinguished service and 648 for meritorious service. Commerce and Industry Ministry plans to organize 300 events for an outreach strategy to promote agro-export and accomplish a target of over $23 billion in exports for the current financial year. President Draupadi Murmu has approved 107 gallantry awards to Armed Forces and Central Armed Forces personnel. Space Kids India has unfurled the Indian flag about 30 kilometers above the planet. The flag was sent to an altitude of 106,000 feet above the earth on a balloon that unfurled it. A 56-year-old man has been taken into custody by the Mumbai police for issuing threats to Reliance Industries Limited chairman Mukesh Ambani and his family. Imran Khan plays S. Jaishankar's video at Lahore rally, lauds India for not bowing to US pressure on buying Russian oil. The Taliban regime in Afghanistan has asked India to complete the development projects it had started in the country. The US dollar rose today after a new batch of disappointing Chinese data bolstered global recession worries. Yuan weakens following a surprise key rate cut by the People's Bank of China. And Salman Rushdie is pulling through and has his feisty and defiant sense of humor intact despite battling severe, life-changing injuries, say his son and former wife Padma Lakshmi. News now in detail, starting with our top story. India is celebrating historic Independence Day today, the day that marks 75 years of our independence. With Tiranga in every home, the nation paid homage to the freedom fighters who laid their lives for independence of the country. Addressing the nation, Prime Minister Narendra Modi pledged to make India a developed country in the next 25 years. He said that the 76th Independence Day marked the first dawn of the Amrit Kal from 75th anniversary of independence to its centenary in 2047. He also urged youth to dedicate the next 25 years to the development of the nation. He proudly stated that India has been developing on every front, from renewable energy to healthcare and infrastructure. Prime Minister also stressed on Atmanirbhar Bharat and reducing dependence on imports by making India a manufacturing hub.
विंड एनर्जी का क्षेत्र हो, रिन्यूएबल के और भी जो रास्ते हो, मिशन हाइड्रोजन हो, बायोफ्यूल की कोशिश हो, इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल पर जाने की बात हो, हमें आत्मनिर्भर बन करके इन व्यवस्थाओं को आगे बढ़ाना होगा। आईटी की दुनिया में भारत ने अपना एक लोहा बनवा लिया है, तो ये टेकेड का सामर्थ्य भारत के प्यास है।
In his Independence Day speech from the Red Fort, Prime Minister Modi declared war against the twin evils of corruption and nepotism. He said that Parivarwad is not just limited to politics. He also called upon people to resolve to end corruption and nepotism in every field. He also asked the people to focus on Panch Pran, or 5 resolves, to ensure a developed India in the next 25 years. These include a resolve for developed India, removing colonial mindset, taking pride in our legacy, strength of unity, and fulfilling the duties of citizens.
विश्व का भारत की तरफ देखने का नजरिया बदल चुका है। विश्व भारत की तरफ गर्व से देख रहा है, अपेक्षा से देख रहा है। समस्याओं का समाधान भारत की धरती पर दुनिया खोजने लगी है। दोस्तों, विश्व का ये बदलाव, विश्व की सोच में ये परिवर्तन 75 साल की हमारी अनुभव यात्रा का परिणाम है।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that India's wait for 5G technology is over and the benefits of digital India will reach every part of the country soon. Addressing the nation, Prime Minister Modi stressed on all-round development of technology in the country. He termed this decade as India's decade and said that the dream of digital India will pass through its villages.
हम 5G के दौर की ओर कदम रख रहे हैं। बहुत दूर इंतजार नहीं करना होगा, हम कदम मिलाने वाले हैं। हम ऑप्टिकल फाइबर गांव-गांव में पहुंचा रहे हैं। डिजिटल इंडिया का सपना गांव से गुजरेगा, ये मुझे पूरी जानकारी है। आज मुझे खुशी है, हिंदुस्तान के 4 लाख कॉमन सर्विस सेंटर्स गांवों में विकसित हो रहे हैं।
The Red Fort was all decked up in tricolour, flowers and murals depicting key events that led up to India's freedom. For the first time in 75 years, indigenously developed howitzer guns were used during the 21-gun salute at the Red Fort. Exuding pride, Prime Minister Modi said that after 75 years, people heard the sound of a made-in-India weapon in the Independence Day gun salute. For the first time, 2 Mi-17 helicopters showered petals in Amrit formation as Prime Minister Modi hoisted the national flag. A bunch of tricolour balloons were also released in the air from the Red Fort after the Prime Minister's speech ended. At the conclusion of his speech, the cadets of National Cadet Corps sang the national anthem. This time, 26 officers and 127 cadets from 14 different countries made maiden entry at Red Fort as part of NCC's Special Youth Exchange Program. These countries include US, UK, Argentina, Brazil, Fiji, Indonesia, Maldives and Mauritius. Prime Minister Narendra Modi paid tribute to Mahatma Gandhi at Rajghat on India's 76th Independence Day. Prime Minister visited the memorial of the father of the nation and paid homage there ahead of going to the Red Fort. States and union territories celebrated the 76th Independence Day and held events to mark the occasion. Maharashtra Chief Minister Eknath Shinde said that his government's priority is to work for the common man. He hoisted the national flag for the first time at the State Secretariat. Gujarat Chief Minister Bhupendra Patel unfurled the national flag at Modasa in Aravalli on the occasion of the Independence Day. Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan hoisted the flag at Lal Parade Ground in Bhopal. He also honoured police personnel for meritorious services on the occasion. Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath said after hoisting the flag at Vidhan Bhavan that we should feel proud of our country and our country's parliamentary democracy. Uttarakhand Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami hoisted the national flag at his residence in Dehradun on the occasion of Independence Day. Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar hoisted the national flag at Gandhi Maidan in Patna. He said that his state is on the path of progress despite various challenges. Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal hoisted the Tiranga at the Chhatrasal Stadium in Delhi. He said that free education and health services are not freebies and India can become the top country in the world if these facilities are provided to the people. Chief Justice of India N.V. Ramanna said on Monday that the executive, legislature and the judiciary are equal repositories of constitutional trust. He said that the Constitution dispels the notion that delivery of justice is the responsibility of courts only. The Chief Justice said this after hoisting the national flag on the 76th Independence Day at the Supreme Court premises in New Delhi. He said that it was the responsibility of the state to secure a social order in which justice, social, economic and political are rendered. He said that the judicial system goes by the commitment to the written constitution and enjoys immense faith reposed by the people. Now let us take a look at some stories that are making the news across the nation. President Draupadi Murmu hosted an at-home reception at Rashtrapati Bhavan on the occasion of the 76th Independence Day. The reception was attended by various national and foreign dignitaries. President Draupadi Murmu paid tribute to the martyrs at the National War Memorial. She was accompanied by Defence Minister Rajnath Singh and the chiefs of the three services. Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar greeted citizens on Independence Day. He tweeted that this day is an occasion to remember brave freedom fighters. Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla unfurled the national flag at his residence in New Delhi on the occasion of Independence Day. He said that we have a collective responsibility to establish India as a global leader and a developed nation in the next 25 years. The leakage in the under-construction dam on the Karam River in Dhar district of Madhya Pradesh has been sealed. Praising the disaster management, Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan has announced a reward of 2 lakh rupee each to the earth-moving machine drivers. Border Security Force and Pakistani Rangers exchanged sweets on the occasion of Independence Day at Atari Wagah border in Amritsar. As we slip into a short break, here is a look at how Indian diaspora across the world celebrated 76th Independence Day. Take a look at these visuals. See you on the other side of the break.
और तिरंगा जो देश की आन बान शान है, इसको लेकर के प्रधानमंत्री जी ने आह्वान भी किया है सबको घर घर तिरंगा फहराने का। सभी घरों में अपने तिरंगा फहराएं, अपने अपने सोशल मीडिया में भी 2 तारीख से 15 तारीख तक तिरंगे का फोलियो लगाएं और इस प्रकार से तिरंगा भारत की आन बान शान है, इसको सम्मान के साथ हम सब फहराएं।
Welcome back. Time now for all the big developments from the Russia-Ukraine war front. Moscow and Kiev trade blame once again for shelling near the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power station. Russian media reported that Ukrainian armed forces shelled Ennahorda city twice on Sunday, in which 1 civilian died. Denying Russia's charges, Ukraine said that Russian troops fired multiple shells into Ennahorda on Sunday, causing civilian casualties. Russian Defense Ministry said that their forces had hit a number of Ukrainian command posts in the past 24 hours in the Donetsk and Kherson region. Russia also claimed that its forces have taken full control of the settlement of Udi in Kharkiv region. Meanwhile, Ukrainian military said that they had repelled the Russian attack towards Sloviansk, Kramatorsk and Avdiivka in the Donetsk region. Amid Western condemnation of Russia's war in Ukraine, Russian President Vladimir Putin has promised to expand ties with North Korea. In a letter to his counterpart Kim Jong-un on Pyongyang's Liberation Day, Putin said that the move would be in the interest of both the countries. In turn, Kim said that friendship between both nations had been forged in World War II with victory over Japan. While we show you the damage and devastation being caused in Ukraine due to Russia's invasion, we also bring you stories of hope. Here is one such story from Battle Zone Ukraine that shows how artists are raising funds for rebuilding the war-torn cities by painting on damaged vehicles and ruins of buildings.
Painting hope in the city ravaged by war. Artists in the war-torn city of Irpin are using burnt-out cars as canvas to raise funds for rebuilding of the city and local humanitarian projects. The project called Flowers for Hope was initiated by an artist from Los Angeles, Trek Thunder Kelly. Kelly, a muralist in United States, said that he was moved by visuals of Bucha and came to Ukraine.
We're basically raising money for Ukrainian artists to paint murals in city-approved sites because they felt that at least having something beautiful in the ruins until they have time to rebuild, that was something that they wanted to look into and support. So the money that we raise goes to Ukrainian artists. They will be painting on walls in various villages here. And then the art will be turned into NFTs, which can then be traded on the blockchain, and the money made from those NFTs will support local humanitarian projects.
Joined by Ukrainian artists, they go around painting on burnt cars and ruins. The artists prefer painting sunflowers as they are considered a symbol of commemoration of those who died. Irpin was under Russian occupation for 3 weeks. More than 100 buildings were destroyed in the city and 269 people were killed. Artists plan to paint a mural in the destroyed culture center in Irpin and turn the mural into a non-fungible token to raise money for local humanitarian projects. Bureau Report, Sansad TV.
Time now for some other global updates. India's Independence Day on August 15th coincides with several historic global events. These include Japan's Memorial Day for the end of the war and Korea's Liberation Day. Take a look at the report for details.
August 15th, is also commemorated as the surrender day of Japan in the World War II in 1945. On this day, the Emperor of Japan, Hirohito, announced the surrender of Japan to the Allies in a recorded radio address, thus bringing the war to an end.
Upon which surrender of the Japanese imperial forces is here to be given and accepted are contained in the instrument of surrender now before you.
Since then, Japan observes 15th August as the memorial day for the end of the war. Speaking on the occasion, Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida pledged to never wage war again. The event was also attended by Japanese Emperor Naruhito. In a televised address, the Emperor paid tribute to all the lives lost in the war.
決然たる誓いをこれからも貫いてまいります。未だ争いが絶えることのない世界にあって、我が国は積極的平和主義の旗のもと、国際社会と力を合わせながら、世界が直面するさまざまな課題の解決に全力で取り組んでまいります。直面するさまざまな課題の解決に全力で取り組んでまいります。
In Korea, the day is celebrated as its National Liberation Day, as it ended the Japanese occupation of the country. The Republic of Korea was formally established on August 15, 1948. It is the only Korean public holiday observed by both North and South Korea. In his first address as President of South Korea, Yoon Suk-yeol said that the nation must first overcome historical disputes with Japan and achieve peace with North Korea. Yoon also reiterated the promise to provide North Korea with a wide-ranging aid if Pyongyang stopped the development of its nuclear program. Bureau Report, Sansad TV.
Now let us take a look at some more stories from around the globe. A court in Myanmar convicted Aung San Suu Kyi on more corruption charges and sentenced her to an additional 6 years in prison. Suu Kyi is the country's prominent political figure who was ousted by the military and detained in February 2021. The trials were held closed door, where media was not allowed and her lawyers were forbidden to reveal anything by a gag order. She denied all the charges and her lawyers are expected to appeal. Iran has denied any involvement in the assault on author Salman Rushdie. Iran's foreign ministry spokesperson said that the attack on the author is no one else's fault but his own. Rushdie was stabbed at an event in New York and suffered liver damage and severed nerves in an arm and an eye. The assailant, 24-year-old Hadi Matar, has pleaded not guilty in the court. A delegation of US Congress members visited Taiwan's parliament today. This was a signal, further a sign of support among American lawmakers for the self-governing island. The 5-member delegation is scheduled to meet with other government and private sector representatives. Lawmakers in Taiwan have welcomed the gesture and acknowledged the significance of such a visit during current tension between China and Taiwan. Reducing tensions in the Taiwan Strait and investments in Taiwan's crucial semiconductor industry are expected to be key topics of discussion. The Taliban today marked a year since they seized the Afghan capital Kabul. Supporters and Taliban fighters hoisted rifles and banners of their movement, staged small victory parades on foot, bicycles and motorcycles in the streets of the capital. Taliban's rapid takeover last year triggered a hasty escape of the nation's leaders and Western forces. This sent the economy into a tailspin and fundamentally transformed the country. Heavy rains set off flash floods that killed at least 31 people and left dozens missing in Afghanistan. Many villages were destroyed in northern Afghanistan due to rains and floods. In Ghorband alone, 29 people, mostly women and children, died and 92 were injured. Over 100 people are missing and a search and rescue operation is underway. The flash floods swept away dozens of homes in the 3 worst affected districts in Parwan. Time now for all the sporting action. Pablo Carrera Busta spoiled Hubert Hurkacz's perfect record in ATP finals, beating him 3-6, 6-3, 6-3 to win the Montreal Masters. Simona Halep kept control against unpredictable Beatriz Haddad Maia, beating the Brazilian 6-3, 2-6, 6-3 to win a 3rd WTA Masters 1000 title in Canada. Harry Kane snatched a 96th minute equaliser to salvage a 2-2 draw for Tottenham from a feisty London derby against Chelsea. David Alaba scored with a stunning free kick immediately after coming on as a substitute as Real Madrid came from behind to beat Almeria 2-1 in their opening game of the La Liga season. And former Australian captain Ian Chappell has decided to bring down curtain on his 45-year-old commentary career. The 78-year-old Chappell has been admired all over the world for his incisive views on international cricket. That's all in the news bulletin tonight. To stay updated, keep watching Sansad TV. Good night. Namaskar.